The Ministry of Common Sense. How to Eliminate Bureaucratic Red Tape, Bad Excuses, and Corporate BS. By Martin Lindstrom. Simple solutions. A company wanted to create a remote control device that would conveniently manage the TV, lighting, and air conditioning. However, they ended up manufacturing a device with an overwhelming number of small buttons, tiny numbers, and 3 separate numeric keypads. Users struggled to even find the power button, and sometimes ended up accidentally turning off the room lights or shutting down the air conditioning. By chance, one of the users met the engineer responsible for this device during a flight and asked him about the reason for its complexity. The engineer attributed it to the internal issues within the organization, where different departments worked individually and in isolation, each focused on fulfilling their own interests rather than the broader public interest. While each department completed their assigned tasks in designing the control device, they neglected the most important factor, the overall user experience that would enable consumers to use the device smoothly and without unnecessary complications. Just as a small crack in the foundation of a bridge indicates more serious foundational problems, the complexity of the control device reflects the organizational issues that hinder the company's progress and waste its efforts. Empathy and learning from customers. One of the leading hospitals specializing in respiratory diseases experienced a decline in patient satisfaction levels. When senior executives were asked about the amount of time they spent talking to patients, it became clear that they hardly engaged with them at all. The hospital sought the assistance of Martin Lindstrom, the founder of Lindstrom Consulting, who began organizing visits for patients with the CEOs. During one of the visits, they met a woman who had been suffering from asthma since birth. She described the hardships and isolation she experienced as a child due to her peers' aversion towards her. When asked how she overcame this experience, she pulled out a plastic inhaler from her bag and explained that she would ask her peers to breathe through it while they held their noses shut for 60 seconds, stating, "That's how asthmatic patients breathe all the time." Her attempt successfully created a sense of empathy towards her, and their approach towards her changed. Inspired by this experience, Martin Lindstrom decided to share it with the hospital's board of directors. They were handed inhalers but could only bear them for a few seconds before Martin told them, "That is how your patients breathe every minute of their lives." This moment reshaped the hospital's vision, and the Human Resources Department began hiring more empathetic individuals. The Research and Development Department started designing products that considered patients' perspectives and alleviated their suffering. The hospital regained a general sense of empathy and sound logic in dealing with patients, resulting in higher customer satisfaction rates. Beware of daily routine. A few years ago, an experiment was conducted on a group of chickens. The chickens were kept in a cage for 6 months and then released into green pastures. Within minutes, the chickens voluntarily returned to the cage. This is the syndrome of habituation that can hamper an organization's ability to change, and people often confuse it with common sense or intuitive thinking. Continuing with this analogy, imagine if the researchers had placed corn kernels at a distance from the cage. What would have happened? Most likely, the chickens would not have made the effort to cover the long distance to reach the corn. From this, we can conclude that uncertainty and lack of support can inhibit motivation and lead to a preference for staying in the comfort zone. However, if the corn were placed near the cage, the chickens would easily and quickly reach it. If we apply the same approach to organizations, we can help them achieve quick gains that stimulate them to progress on the path of transformation. For more information, you can check out summaries of our books on our channel. Thank you for your valuable time.